got something for you. We got something for you, you. It's something Megapod shiny. It's wrapped in Megapod plastic. Put on your Megapod jammy. It's time for Megapod-tastic. 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 Megapod-tastic.
Good morning. Welcome back to Crazy Joe's Concession Stand. We got a good show for you today. We got look, we've already got 4 people here. I think there's going to be at least 5 people on the panel. But as always, Little Movie Purpose here.
Hello.
Finally joining us because just like 2 weeks ago, we were like, where the hell? How come Max never joins us on the stream? Boom. Max is here for a rare
Max
change.
and Callie.
And a very special guest, good friend of mine. It is.
He's in there.
Everett.
Let's go. Lil
there we
Everett
go.
with his amazing debut on my channel. Yorale-hee-hoo.
That was awesome, Everett. And look, hey, we got a special guest tonight. Great guy, one of the best around on YouTube. For if you're a film lover, if you love movies like we love movies, nobody loves movies like Heath from Serial at Midnight, and it's good to have you here. It's been too long since we've had you on this channel.
Thank you. That's quite an intro. That was like a special guest. Wow, I've been here at least several. How many times? I think this is number 3.
Yeah, but it's been over a year. I mean, it's probably been over 2 years. I don't remember the last time. I don't know. Last time you were here, we were talking about. I think how do you feel about Scream coming back? So that gives you an idea.
Was that the last one we did?
I think so. I think so. I don't know. Maybe
it's gonna be a hot one. This is gonna be hot.
Yeah. So, oh look, Degrassi's here. Good to see you, Degrassi. Big Woke Joe. That's right, Big Woke Joe. James Borland's here. Good to see you, Gary. Look, I'd love to have you on the panel some night. Maybe I told you I reached out to you. I'd love to have you on here. But we do kind of have a full house tonight, so I don't want it to turn into a chaos stream. We kind of know how chaos streams go, don't we, Perp?
A bit too well.
But like maybe like next week if you're still around. So, and welcome Noah. Welcome Noah to the stream.
Hey guys.
So here's the thing. Heath puts out a video about a week ago that really spoke to me because, and Perp, you and I, we have this conversation all the time.
Yes.
It was a video about, what was the title of your video, by the way? Like we all watched it, but I don't remember what it was called.
Oh, geez. I don't, you know what's interesting? I'm going to look it up while we're talking because I made the video twice. One of them I posted and it was just too raw. And so I did it again later and I toned it down a little bit. And that's the version that you guys you saw.
The state of movie fandom.
The state of movie fandom. Yeah, the current state of movie fandom, and this channel was in parentheses.
Yes. When Joe says we've talked, we've noticed that in general, a lot of like serious movie discussion channels, all that, there seems to be this frustration that you were able to word in that 13, I think it was like, no, it was more than, it was like 14-minute video. All these frustrations that I see throughout the years. And even the positivity that gets ignored, that's my personal frustration that I saw in your video. So yeah, really responded to that aspect that Joe was talking about. I was wondering if we could are we going to be able to play it at some point, or do you just want to go into discussions?
Well, I mean, look,
I have some questions.
Well, see, he's taking time out to be here. I don't know if he wants to make him sit through his own video again, but
that'd be weird. We could talk about it though.
I will point everyone off to his channel, Serial at Midnight. The video is called Current State of. All his videos are good, by the way. Doesn't matter which one you watch. You're going to be watching a good video. Great little walkthrough of a Toys R Us that you did in Canada.
Did you see that?
Of course I did. Yeah, no, you do.
I'm jealous. I want to go back to Toys R Us.
Yeah, it was everything I hoped it would be.
Now, here's the thing I will say about you. And Heath, by the way, I've been wanting to get you and Perp together for a long time because I think you two, of everybody I know, I don't know anyone as devoted to pure cinema as the two of you. So
That's
Wow.
sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if that's true in my case though. I watch a lot of trash purposely.
It's all right. No, we'll get there.
yeah. but here's the thing. You and I, Heath, we agree on so much and we disagree on so much. So it's not like, this is just the Admiration Society where we're just going to sit here and tell each other like for example, you've been very critical of IP films. You made it a video earlier this year where you said you weren't even going to go see a lot of these movies on the first week of release.
Yeah.
To send a message, which I totally got where you were coming from for there. That pissed a lot of people off. But no, I got it. I understood what you were saying, where you were coming from.
Well, hey, if all you watch is IP and someone goes, I'm not supporting this stuff for the first. By the way, such an ineffective thing to do, by the way. The more I thought about it, I was like, well, a week, what does it matter? So I broke that for Beetlejuice because I wanted to go see it. And like, well, can they recapture that lightning in a bottle? And people were like, what are you doing? Actually, I did put a poll out before I did it. It was like, should I go see Beetlejuice week 1? And more people said yes. I was like, I'm just going to do it. It's going to do it and go have a good time. And somebody commented and they're like, you should go see these movies in the first week of release. What are you, allergic to views or something like that? And I was like, it's a good point, right? Like, why would I cut off? Like, hey guys, don't come to the channel for this. But anyway.
Well, my feeling has been, and I know this is somewhere where you and I differ, post-pandemic, I kind of feel like the state that we're in with cinema is we got to get butts in seats. There's so many people who are willing to stay home and just sit in front of their TVs and wait for these things to stream. And I want the theaters to stay alive so we can keep getting movies out to theaters in the future. And I think the perfect short-term solution to that is basically the Bob Iger plan of, when Bob Iger came back, the first thing he did was greenlight like 25 sequels that are guaranteed like almost like $1 billion movies. Like, we're going to do Toy Story 5. We're going to do Frozen 3. We're going to do another Ray Skywalker movie. We're going to do, and he just like went down the list of what was everything we had that made $1 billion last time. Let's do it again. And there's a cynical side that says like, well, geez, where's the original stuff? But I kind of feel like anything that gets the people back in the theaters, if they have a good time, if they have a good time, maybe, just maybe they'll get back into the habit of going to the movies. And then they'll be like, all right, now I'm willing to branch out. Now I'm willing because I'm liking this. I'm back in the habit. I'm back in the habit of going and sitting down with the crowd. And I've regained that love. So I kind of think it's a good strategy. I don't only want those movies, but I think if that can keep the pulse going until we can reawaken that love of cinema in people, I don't know. I kind of think it's a pretty good idea.
I don't, but okay. I mean, I hear you. I mean, it didn't work. We did it. They did it. It didn't work. People went to see Deadpool and Wolverine, and they saw Inside Out 2, and they're like, that's it. You got me 2 times. I'm staying home the rest of the year. And all these great movies have come out. Some of them have been tentpole movies. Some of them have been IP, but most people just stayed home. And when you go, guys, Fall Guy was great. Fall Guy's an IP movie. I love it. I think it's a fantastic movie. It feels fresh. It feels really original. I'm seeing this movie opening day in a theater with like 5 people, talking to the people on the way out of the movie. Like, wow, did you like the original TV show? I'm like, yes, I did. What did you think about this? And then I come make a video about it. People are like, ew, why, what's wrong with you? It's this weird attitude where it's not just like, I'll wait on that. It's like, how dare you? Like, what are you seeing this stuff for? That's there's an attitude. There's a stink on 2024.
There is, I think part of the problem is that it's really fun. And I think you get a lot of comedy out of being negative, right? And I think that's where these channels have sort of grown. I sort of liken it to, I almost call it the red letter media effect. Even though I love that channel and I love those guys, it's a fact they're the best when they're just ranking on a movie, right? And I think a lot of people were inspired by that. And I think that's taken its toll now to the point where it's like literally everyone can only talk about a movie if it's in a negative light, because that's how they're the most entertaining. And it makes sense too. Because if you have like a really good movie, you're just immersed in the movie, right? You're just immersed in it. If you're watching a terrible movie with a group of friends, it's way more interactive. It's just way more fun. I think that's one route. I guess I could lead this to a question. How would you get your audience excited for a movie outside of just one positive review? Because that seems to be it. How do you get, like, with bad movies, there's memes. You know, I have tons of memes of Madam Web. I love Madam Web, right? Because it was such a train wreck for me that, you know, I get a lot of leeway with just a lot of lines that I put as memes, all this stuff. Like you can't really do that with positive films. I mean, you sort of can in Twitter, but so how would you attack that angle?
Is that for me?
Yes, you specifically.
If I knew that, man, if I
Yeah.
could answer that question, we'd be
Yeah.
having a different conversation. I cannot seem this year, all year, I've tried to get people excited about it. I've tried reviews. I've tried like joyful, like I love the movie The Bike Riders. The Bike Riders continues to be my favorite movie of 2024. I just connected with it. And I cannot get some people get excited about it, but there's a disconnect now. To the point that I have now decided, like, look, I'm wasting too much energy trying to get you guys to follow me. So this is the direction I'm going. If you want to come, here I go. If not, see you around. I mean, whatever. Like, it's not working for whatever reason. Every single movie that I talk about is met with hostility. Every single one.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask Keith, what movies? So, Bike Riders was one of the examples of a really good movie that no one saw. What are some other examples of movies that you think really people didn't reward? But I want to see that movie. I was looking forward to that movie, but it got delayed and kicked to another studio. And I think part of the reason with that one is the marketing and where it got skipped along to somewhere else. May have hurt that a little bit. But what are some other examples of movies? Like, because I've been going to some movies this year. I don't know.
Max, I can answer right off the bat. Perp and I have been singing the praises of I Saw the TV Glow for months now.
It's on Max.
I still haven't checked that one out. Yeah, no. I should.
Kneecap is really good. It's one of the craziest movies I've ever seen.
Okay.
Kneecap.
Blink Twice. Blink Twice is this year's The Sixth Sense.
Oh, really?
It's a Shyamalan movie that's not by Shyamalan, and it's so fresh. And when I reviewed it, people were like, "Oh, it was Zoe Kravitz is a nepo baby, and it's woke and all this stuff." Like, you haven't seen it. It's again immediate hostility.
Well, here's one of the things I think could help out. I think following trends, following careers does help out. Like for Zoe Kravitz specifically, I thought I liked Blink Twice a lot. I was actually incredibly surprised at how good her direction was, and I think you could sort of. And I know you don't. I'm not asking you to do that, but one of the things I would see, it's like it would be kind of interesting now. You know, people love her in the Batman as Catwoman. There's a Penguin show. People are talking a Catwoman show. It'd be great if she was like, now she's a director, maybe she could helm that. Like you could transfer, I think, stuff like that, where I think you could get the audience's attention with the IP while still talking about like the interesting movie, and maybe even get them interested in that movie because that actor that they like in the interesting IP is like the director of like something like Blink Twice, you know? And I think, and I don't think it's far off to think, oh, Zoe Kravitz is definitely going to direct other stuff that is going to be IP, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll give you another one. And Perp and I were just talking about this on a stream the other day. Another one of my favorite. By the way, all my favorite movies this year were originals. Like, yeah, I put Anthony Cheeseman's comment up there. You can only milk so many IPs. Eventually, they got to do something original. That's the point. This year, there's a lot of originality. There's a whole lot of original stuff, and guess what? No one's going to see it.
Yeah.
We were talking about another original film, one of my favorites of the year, My Old Ass. My Old Ass was really, really good, really emotional film. How many people saw that? I don't know. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but it was fantastic.
Nobody saw it.
Yeah.
Nobody sees anything anymore, Joe.
Right.
Yeah, and once again, my leeway of talking about that is like, yo, what an amazing month Aubrey Plaza's having with Agatha, and then you could sort of transition into that, where it's like, everyone, please look up My Old Ass, because Aubrey Plaza is gonna get, some award contention, hopefully, at least Indie Award contention.
I'll be honest. I'm not as well versed with these movies as you guys are.
Yes.
I don't even remember seeing trailers for these ones.
That brings me.
That's
thank you, Max.
That's the thing on my end. There's movies here. I do remember Blink Twice, and I'm surprised by that he said that one, because horror fans usually are the exception. They usually go support most new projects. So I'm surprised that one didn't do well, especially.
I think it did. I think it did fine. I think it profited. It was like a 9 million, probably like 15.
It's just a low budget. Hopefully, it was a low budget movie. It made a profit.
Yeah, I thought First Omen bombed, and then I found out, oh no, it made like 300. I was like, oh crap! Like, it's very difficult for these horror films. That was a studio horror film too. But yeah, thank you for mentioning that. One of the things I think is a big problem. Like, I'm seeing this as more of a virtue signal and just like a talking point than anyone really thinking about it. I've seen a lot of, I care about story. This sucks. I just want a good story, right? That seems to be the argument a lot of the times. I just want a good story. I just want a good story. I just want a good story. I think there's something with the audience that they're skipping a step, right? I think audience members are skipping a step nowadays. And that is the intent of what exactly kind of story are you looking for? Because if you just want a good story, it's like, okay, and you want the opportunity to shove it into Hollywood. You're not producing good stories, Hollywood. You should probably wait until the Oscar nominees, best screenplay, right? And there you could really give it to Hollywood. Hey, you're not providing the good shit. None of those people are doing that. When they're talking about good story, they're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. I want a good story, Deadpool and Wolverine. It's like,
which, by the way, doesn't have a good story.
Exactly.
It just has a lot of references.
They're skipping a step. And I think that step is intent, right? I think intent. What exactly are you looking for? For me personally, I've made it very clear of what I look for in my films. And it's already obvious. Good story, obvious. That should be obvious. Guess what, guys? Every filmmaker thinks they have a good story. Every filmmaker wants to have a good story. Even the really shitty ones, right? They think, I'm going to try to make this a good story. Even if it's really bad, it's a B movie, it's just an action, whatever, they still want a good story. It's the same thing. So I really honed down what exactly I'm looking for. I like action and I like horror. I even get more specific. I like my action movies when like girls are kicking ass. So, from there, I'm able to branch out. I'm able to go for that specific stuff, including foreign films, which is something I feel people virtue signal, but they don't actually, I'm speaking audience, no one here or anything like that. I'm speaking like what I see in audience members whenever we hone in on what exactly are they asking for. It seems they're missing a step. What do you guys think of that? This panel? No.
Well, I mean, by the way, $2 super chat from Blue Jay. Thank you, Blue Jay. Okay. We here in MME are
he's mean. You're
movies.
I hate you, Blue Jay.
I just want a good story, but they can't say what the story is.
Well, it's like
if you want a good story, watch the good stories. You're not going to get it from like the genre.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Number one, how do you know if a film has a good story or not if you don't go see it?
Right. That's true too.
That's number one, because we hear people say, as Heath mentioned in his video, we hear people they come out and they're like, well, this movie sucks. And it's like, well, did you see it? No.
Joker 2. Can I just reference Joker 2? Because Skullman in the comments said, I want more stories about troubled, mentally ill white men that are on the fringes of society. Think American Psycho, Fight Club, Nightcrawler, Donnie Darko, now Blade Runner 2049, Drive and the Batman. That's what Joker 2 is. And nobody saw it, but everybody piled onto it like it's a bunch of crap.
And that's the thing. Everybody, the narrative was Joker 2 was a terrible movie. But if you look, Joker 2 had a very poor opening weekend. So that means, like you said, nobody saw it.
Nobody saw it.
So
Nobody saw that movie. And here's the thing, right? It's all awards buzz, right? That first film came out of nowhere. Nobody expected that one film to make $1 billion. They went in expecting one thing. Now, I'm not saying this. I am not saying that they should have. Here's the issue, though. With that film, it's all based on what everybody wanted, but the filmmaker didn't do what that studio said to do. He took everything on his back and didn't follow any directions. So
where's that coming from? Where are you getting that information?
That's coming from Deadline and all the major trades, and I think the first one was from Deadline, I believe.
I understand where you're coming from. I've read that too, but I think it's getting misinterpreted. They said he had full creative control. So everything in that movie did come from Todd Phillips, but I don't know necessarily that anyone was telling him otherwise. I don't know that anyone was saying we don't want this, and he was pushing back and saying,
yeah, it's also a film is such a collaborative thing. Like, who's to say what idea came from where, who was pushing what, who was doing this, who was doing that. In the contract, like, I have no doubt he probably did for sure have more control in Joker. Like, they wanted him to do Joker 2. They're going to pay him money. The contracts are probably going to be a little, more like, oh, you could do this a little more. You could have this type of edit, but they're still going to have, like, say, one way or another. They're the money men. Right?
There's no scenario where a movie is made if the studio is not on it, like white on rice, right? They're all over. They're looking at the dailies. They're reading the outline of the screenplay before the screenplay even exists. They're signing off on the pages. They're in the boardroom going like, let's check those dailies out. How does that look? Okay, probably like, hey, let's throw in Harvey Dent. Spoilers for Joker 2.
Yeah. And these things, people think like it's a studio guy going to Todd Phillips. Change that. No, what ends up happening is they're discussing, yo, Todd, this scene, we feel this is that, and Todd's like, yeah, oh, maybe we could do that. Like, there's such a dance between ideas that to say like they came from this, it came from a studio head, did this and that. It's like, no, there's so many filters already there that it's very difficult to like even blame anything on one guy,
Take Solo, a Star Wars story, for example. That's a perfect example, because there you had directors who we were told were going rogue and doing their own thing against the wishes of the studio. Well, what happened? They got fired. It wasn't like the studio just put that movie out then and said, well, they did their own thing. We told them no, they were fired for it.
The studio is never the victim. They are always in control at the end of the day. Always.
Yeah.
And you brought up Star Wars. Let's talk about Rogue One. They hired Gareth Edwards, right?
Yep.
To make this gritty World War II style movie. He makes that movie, and they go, "This is too hardcore." So they bring in Henry Gilroy to basically remake half of the movie, uncredited. I mean, he is credited, but they reshot like half of that movie. But Gareth Edwards played ball, so he gets to keep the director credit on it. This is how movies are made. The studio is always in control.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say with the Joker 2, I love the first Joker. I was so sold on Lady Gaga coming in as Harley Quinn, but I'm guessing some of it too is maybe when the first Joker was released. I still like. Don't judge me for this. I still like Jared Leto's Joker in the Suicide Squad. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was the most amazing thing ever. But there's like two things there. You're coming right off that the next time you see the Joker, and then also, it's the first trailer when people didn't know what to expect exactly. Joaquin Phoenix is going to give interest, and part of the whole buzz from the first movie is not really knowing what to expect. And I don't know if you got that from the sequel. I mean, there was still some surprising stuff, I'm sure. I still didn't see it yet. I still want to.
Oh, come on. You can't talk about it if you haven't seen it. You got to watch it.
No. I still want. I've just been very busy.
Welcome to the Mad
My
Max
friends
show.
know me. I've been very busy for the last month with real life stuff, so I haven't been to the theater. but I am going to see it. But that my guess is that there's some surprising stuff in it, but not as like, wow, this is shocking like the first movie. Like when you
I
got
think it's incredibly shocking, and I'm going to reference.
Okay.
I'm going to reference. Skullman is now arguing with me in the comments.
Never a good idea to
saying that
reference
it's because that Joker 2 serves no purpose other than to lecture the very audience who liked the first one. Okay,
Please.
how?
Ooh.
I would say, having seen Joker 2, I came out of that caring even more about Arthur than I cared about him in the first movie. It is a tragic love letter to Arthur. It is
Okay.
breaking the man down. This is what people talk about this movie. Like, did you watch the movie? Did we watch the same movie?
Well, look, we saw.
Well, I think it's also okay. Why can't a filmmaker comment on their last film? Also, if that is the case, that doesn't mean the film is automatically bad. David Fincher literally did the same thing with The Killer, making probably a commentary on what people thought of Fight Club, the hypocrisy of people not seeing that. And I think that was filtered in through Killer. He's like making a commentary on that. That's been noted before, and people let that movie pass. Oh, Fincher's a genius when Fincher does it, right?
Do you think some of people's issues may be like, I'm still going to go see it. I just haven't got to see it yet. But from what I've heard from my pals, Perp, Joe, and other people have seen it, it may give a little bit more answers than the first one was more open-ended and vague as to your own interpretations. And also the expectations of a sequel. People had these expectations of what it was going to be.
Skullman, then you misunderstood The Killer. That's what you got from it.
First of all, I just want to say I think there's a 75% chance that Skullman never saw Joker 2, because we know based on the box office that not a lot of people saw it.
Well, that's my point, right? Because
Exactly.
everybody's arguing about Joker 2 without having seen Joker 2. I'm like,
Exactly.
okay, what part of it made you feel that way? And then you know, if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you.
That would have been the first movie I would have saw Joker 2.
You know what? I went in with very low expectations because I did not care for the first Joker movie.
Oh, really?
I thought that it was incredibly dire. And I really connected with Joker 2 because I found it to be even more human than the first one. And so when people are like, it's a big F you, I'm like, I didn't get that at all. I felt an emotional connection to it. Joe, did you like it? I don't remember.
I really liked it. I felt it was a natural, it was a very natural follow-up to the first film.
Yeah.
Like it felt like an organic, like, yeah, I liked the first one better after watching the second one. I feel they're a perfect companion piece to each other.
I can see that.
Do you think this is one like in the future people are gonna like, that was secretly brilliant? Why did we all dislike it back then?
For
It's
sure.
gonna
5
grow
years.
an audience.
5 years. Yeah.
5 years.
You know what it's going to take, Max? People just need to actually watch the movie.
Well, I'm definitely going to eventually. I just me and my friend was visiting and we were going to go see it that week and it just didn't happen. And then it's out of theaters already, actually. Yeah.
Oh, is it? It's still at my theater,
or maybe it's on VOD or something is why. Yeah.
I just want to say, like, I don't begrudge anybody that doesn't immediately run out and see stuff at the theater because the theater is expensive, the theater is inconvenient, and I get all of that. I'm lucky enough that I have the AMC A list, so I pay $20 a month, and I can see 3 movies a week. That's 12 movies a month for $20. So that's an incredible deal. But if you don't have that, my goodness, you're spending an awful lot of money on movies. So I don't begrudge anybody who waits for streaming or anything like that. But it's just hard because people want to be what I see is people want to tell me I'm wrong for liking something or even going to see something, and they haven't seen it. It's just this weird fan judgment. And Joe, the premise of this conversation, I want to just I want to plant my thesis here. I think what happened is the geeks inherited the earth. We got all this power, right? We got all all these companies now fear the geek, like the blog, whatever. Like we have all the money that they want. They're making all these sequels for us. Like release the Snyder Cut. Warner Brothers was like, okay, here you go. But when it goes bad, like we have become almost like and I say we because I'm a part of it too. Like we've become so powerful that we wield, like nothing seems to make us happy anymore. You know, fandom used to be defined by a sense of community. You go to these conventions. Think about Joe. Think about like comic book. You're wearing your Marvel shirt, right? So think about a convention 25 years ago. It was a communal experience. Like you'd meet friends there, and you would like stay in touch with these people. It was like church. You know, it was like, oh, finally, I've connected with my people. that doesn't really exist anymore. Fandom is defined by anger and by what you don't like. Here's how they got it wrong, rather than like connecting with other people and connecting with the stuff that we always loved. It's changed so drastically. I don't even recognize it anymore.
I don't think it's I just think it's just people in social media in general. Really, that's just the way everything is right now. I don't really think I do remember I did watch your video, excellent video. That's actually inspired me to do more hot takes off the cuff, no stuff. So I hope to do some too. But people are just rewarded for the most extreme, the anger, or even overly positive. Sometimes there's some of that too, and not nuance. Discussion is not rewarded by any algorithm whatsoever. I don't really think there's a way to get away from it. I was actually going to respond to your video by saying you can't change what's going on. You just got to realize what it is, realize how a lot of people are. Maybe just change way you react to it. At least they are. I know it can be hard when people are so negative about art, because I love art too, but at least they are talking about it. I do think some of this negativity, and even like Perp said, with the, what are you doing, Kelly? With the memes, some of this would actually help these movies that otherwise just would tank completely. And there's just so much competition for your eyes right now with entertainment. There's video games, there's all kinds of things. I just think it actually helps the ecosystem that people are still talking about it. It's just people are inherently negative about everything anymore.
This is a conversation Perp and I have had in the past, and you mentioned the memes. I always say I do not like, and Perp says I'm defining it wrong. He says I'm defining the words wrong. But I always say I don't like meme culture, because in my mind, with very few exceptions, Barbenheimer was an exception. With very few exceptions, memes are negative. Memes are, let's tear this thing down. Let's make fun of this thing. Let's find one little clip, and that's the thing we're going to hammer in on, and we're going to goof on this. And when that happens, the narrative has been written before anyone has seen the thing. And I'll go to Madam Web. I know a lot of people hated Madam Web. They hated it. Okay, but people had decided that they hated that before it opened. And I'm like,
because of the memes,
right?
Morbius.
Well,
wouldn't have seen it with regardless.
I don't know. I think meme culture is destructive to film. Perp disagrees with me on this, but I feel like when we
it's the only way Madam Web could live, man.
This actually, you said something to me years ago, Heath. You said something to me years ago that I never thought of, and once you said it, it got in my head, and I've said it to other people now. You and I once were having a discussion, and somehow MST3K came up. And you told me you don't like MST3K, and I may get your words wrong, but to kind of paraphrase it, you said this was the show that introduced the concept of watching things ironically and not accepting things for what they are. And I kind of feel like that's what we're doing now with these internet memes, where we take something like Joker 2 is the latest example. That movie comes out, people don't go see it, but we get little.
I disagree. I don't see meme culture took over Joker 2. I see people still like laughing at it, bombing, and like, haha, Terrifier beat you. I think the meme culture might have even helped Joker 1. The amount of memes that came out of Joker was like insane. The first one. And I think that helped to get to $1 billion.
There are mean memes, but I think a lot of it's in fun. I think
maybe I don't know.
There's a lot of anger.
I don't wrong people for enjoying movie for whatever reason they have for enjoying it, and if it's because it's something special, like in my opinion, Madam Web is to come from a studio film, that's unheard of. It should be celebrated for whatever way people choose to celebrate it.
I don't know. It's
better than it just tanking and everyone says, "Oh, it sucks. It's terrible."
I think my personal opinion would be the films might do worse without that aspect. I mean, I would prefer everything just be good on its own without having this other stuff go really good. I wish Madam Web was really amazing, but there was some enjoyment.
Well, I mean, I'm using Madam Web as an example just because that's what came to mind. But
Morbius. People saw Morbius. a lot the same similar reasons.
I guess I don't know. I don't like this idea of we're gonna take a thing that hasn't even opened yet. We haven't seen it yet, and we're gonna just turn it into a screenshot, a screen grab, and a bit of witty dialogue, and we're gonna be like, that's what that movie is. That boils that movie down. I don't know. That maybe I'm defining it wrong. Maybe it's me because clearly I'm in the minority on this.
It's not just you. It's not you.
No.
There are a couple films that everyone has crapped on for years now, and few people have well, like me. One is oh god, I just forgot it.
Okay.
Oh my god.
That's all right, Noah.
What in the heck is the name of the movie?
Who's in it?
It's a
From
film
Justin to Kelly. Has to be that one. That's
No,
the one always gets lost on me.
Wicked. Wicked. Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
Nobody was even excited for that, and then all of a sudden,
I was.
You don't know theater, kids.
Well, I mean that's a small group, but a regular audience member in my town and in my circles and in my audiences, everyone had said Wicked is going to make no money, and the audience is not there. I'm sorry. Wicked's selling over 250 million tickets on Broadway.
You think it's because of memes? What memes? Or the lady,
No,
the lady
Wicked-
getting upset at the poster?
Wicked's always done good on Broadway.
There are some memes, but the issue is it's those stars.
Memes, like what it's very hard to quantify what a meme does to a movie because we've seen it like where it's like, oh, the internet's behind something like Snakes on a Plane, and it's just like that crashes. Oh, the internet's behind Morbius, and it's not that crashes. It's like,
I
it's
didn't
not really
see a lot of people
quantifiable.
talking about Wicked until the recent controversy, or if you don't think it's controversy at all, the recent comments from the stars, which I was looking forward to begin with, but I actually think that's helping the movie too, regardless of what your opinion is on what the star says in the poster, the fan poster. I think it's actually helping.
You know what also is interesting. Also interesting. It's like I think a lot of movies have been putting, at least lately, they've been putting their directors as a personality to sell, as well, and that hasn't really been. That also hasn't been doing well with like the Megaopolis, which I thought that would do a little better than it did, or even Kevin Costner's like Horizon, like the way they were marketing that he paid for this movie.
But you hit on something that I want to follow up on because both Horizon and American Saga and Megalopolis were made basically as the passion project from these two directors.
Yes, exactly.
Outside of the system.
Yes.
And that system wants to punish them for going outside of the system.
Well, it's also the audience members virtue signal all the time how they're tired of Hollywood, and here's their chance to actually, not represent. Sorry, actually, like back up. Like, oh, these are two actual visionary movies that went against the Hollywood system, got their movie made. Everyone knows, like, there's plenty of that was their marketing, was like these two guys did this by themselves outside of the Hollywood system.
Did the Kevin Costner one, American Saga, did that do anything different or interesting? It just feels like movies that used to get made years ago.
That's one of his favorite movies.
It's just the marketing was awful.
That's one of his favorite movies.
Really?
I gotta admit, I didn't see it. I like
Kevin Costner a lot, but he's not like what he once was. And part of it's, I eventually wanted to see it. I did not want to see it in theater because it's really long, and I just get vibes from like Wyatt Earp. When Tombstone and Wyatt Earp came out, I was the Tombstone fan, and then the Wyatt Earp was just really boring to me, even though I enjoyed it. And I don't know, it just didn't hit me. And I love westerns too. It just didn't excite me. The trailers, I don't know, but hearing that you loved it, that's encouraging, and I do eventually want to see it. I know that it's sad that his part 2 didn't get a theatrical, or is not getting a theatrical, right?
Yeah.
Noah's busting at the seams to say something. I
Yes.
can tell.
So we saw that movie in theaters, and I was so excited. I love all westerns. My big issue was everyone at my theater was asking about where is Horizon? Where is Horizon? I went to the theater multiple times throughout its run. When I saw it in theaters, it was me and one old man who fell asleep halfway through. And I
nap
know
time.
That was me.
I was in the middle in my seat, and he was in the very, very back, and I heard him snoring. Snoring in the theater, and I'm sorry, you might have a bad day. That movie is so well made.
Okay.
So well made.
Really?
It needs to be seen on the big screen.
It's a masterpiece. Yeah.
I'm shocked by Noah and Heath saying this, because I didn't heard people talk about this like this movie.
Well, they didn't see it, so they can't say.
Exactly. I only know.
No, but even like the regular movie pundits, I don't know how you feel about the campias and all that. Like, I haven't heard anyone, the big.
I think those people are in the pocket of big corporate media. I think they're paid to express an opinion.
I know one guy personally. Most people I heard who saw Horizon said it was really good. There's one guy I know who saw it, and he's one of the biggest proponents of seeing things in the theater that I know. He travels hours to visit different theaters. Like, that's like he's a single guy in his 60s, and he just drives around to visit. Like, he'll be like, I drove 6 hours today because I heard this was a cool movie theater. Like, that's what he does. He's one of the biggest proponents of movie theaters, and he's the only guy I heard who said, don't watch this in a movie theater. He said, wait for this to come streaming because it feels like the pilot episode of a TV series. And but he's the only guy I heard say that. Everybody else, and that's what really surprised me, because I'm like, oh man.
Can I ask you a question? How old is this guy?
He's probably about 60.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because everybody that I've heard say that about this movie, because of course it's a 4-part movie, so it is serialized into 4 parts. And everybody that I've heard go like, well, it feels like a TV movie. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's younger people who have been brought up in the streaming era.
That's just the thing to say, just like Perp's point of, I want a good story, and they can't tell you what the story is or what would make it better.
Well,
but
I'm sorry, go on.
Well, that's my point. We, as audience members, we used to give Hollywood the idea of what we wanted by going to see the movies we wanted to see. And if they weren't available, we would go see indie movies. And then eventually you'd have studios like Miramax. They would catch up and they would start doing the indie, make it look like they were the indie movies that people were watching in the late 90s. And that's how you get like American Beauty, which was like marketed like an indie movie. Right? That has stopped now, where it's like, again, what audience are just saying, I just want original good stories. Okay, here you go.
Yeah,
they're not watching
Darling. How about that?
And then they're not watching them, right? They're not watching them, right? So because the audience members aren't being specific, they're not actually going to, outside of just horror, like, which has the studios seem to have a fine. Oh yeah, the studio, we like that. They like the Terrifier shit. It's going to get a grassroots movement going, and that's it. It takes off. That's all it needs, because audience members are going to go see Terrifier, and that told Hollywood, okay, fine, let's do more horror shit. Even Terrifiers now, they have other movies coming out in the theater because of Terrifier's success. Other indie movies like Stream, which has no business being in the theater, but somehow made it, right? So if you want a certain type of movie, like, audience members need to see that movie. They just can't be yelling, "No, we don't like that." That's it.
And they don't even. They're just making excuses at this point. They're just making excuses.
Well,
yeah,
it's like
there's no trend to follow when it comes to Hollywood. Follows trends, but the audience members aren't giving them anything. They're just
they're just staying home and complaining and going like, well, they don't make them like they used to. And you go, yeah, they do. Here's 20 cool movies that are in theaters right now or this year, and they go, no, those are, and then like, that they can't talk to you about it because they don't know what they don't want. They just know they don't want to leave the house to go see anything. I made a video, I don't know, it's like 3 or 4 months ago, called Where Are the Cinephiles? And that video kind of broke me because I was like, guys, I'm going to all these movies. I'm going to Beetlejuice. I'm going to Strange Darling. I'm going to Blink Twice. I'm going to Kneecap. I'm going to I've been in the movies like 3 times a week for most of the year, and I'm always in an empty theater. I saw Horizon and American Saga on opening night with like 3 other people, and I go, guys, where are the cinephiles? Where are the people that just love movies and just absorb movie culture? And the amount of comments that were like, movies, ew, why would I go to the theater? They haven't made anything good since 1997. Like, the amount of comments like that, it kind of broke me, because I'm like, who am I talking to anymore? Where are the people that I used to consider like my tribe?
I feel like people will eventually see this stuff, but I go to more movies because we have this community here and we do movie talk. But my friends and family, even my wife, has there's just a lot more competing for her eyes and her attention, entertainment wise now, and it's really got to be. My pal Brian, he's like a casual movie fan. He's like, it's got to be something really special to get some people there, and I love streaming. I don't know how you feel about streaming, Heath.
Your wife isn't in the discussion, because she's not out there either saying, I hate everything, there's nothing good. Like,
no, she's not like that.
It's just
she will not go to a movie anymore unless it's something like really like, oh, that's different.
I think that's fine. I'm interested in the people,
appeal, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
They've lost the mass market. Me personally, I don't think we're ever going to be back to where there's a bunch of hit movies all in a row like it was 80s, 90s, early 2000s. I think that was like the golden age for music, video games, everything. That's just like print media is no longer where it was now. There's still print media.
That's
my opinion.
Max, you got to keep in mind though, what was the most 2019 2019 was like one of the most successful years at the box office of all time. Because I've heard people say, you forget theaters were dying before COVID. No, BS. 2019 was a really powerhouse year at the theaters.
Streaming has really upped the ante with some quality stuff since then.
I also been saying, dude, I've been a freaking broken record saying, and I've been saying it since last year, we're gonna feel the feedback, like the backdraft of COVID and the strikes for a year and a half. That year and a half isn't done yet.
Well, I said when the strikes happened, don't get me wrong, I was on the side of the writers, I was on the side of the actors, but I kept saying, this is the wrong time to strike. You are still recovering from COVID.
Yes, but I've been saying it since then. People forget that like that is going to affect us for at least a year and a half in terms of the quality we're going to get. We're blessed that we got anything at all for this next year and a half.
But I think, and I said this in a text to Heath, I think things are secular. If you look, I'm 48 years old, born in 76, grew up through the 80s, and my love of movies was built on Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future. Now, a lot of these movies were not IPs at the time. They were original films, but they still all kind of fit in a mold. They were that Spielberg,
or they're rip-off, Star Wars rip-off, Jaws rip-off, all these rip-offs left and right,
But it was in the 90s when like your Quentin Tarantinos and your Kevin Smiths popped up. Like I can't actually I can't say how important Clerks was, because Clerks was like one of the first movies that made me go like, oh, wow, this is just guys talking. This is guys having conversations. And this is compelling. It is compelling just watching these guys talk about their lives. And, that was important. And there was this whole indie boom in the 90s. And so many of the people we know now, their love of film was born in that era. And I just think we need the next one of those. And I think it's inevitable that there's going to be some movie that is just going to capture people's imaginations and kind of relight that fire. And we just haven't had it yet. But I feel like it's inevitable, because this is an art form that has lasted hundreds of years. And every time they said it was dead, TV is going to kill it. VCRs are going to kill it. It doesn't die. I just think we're in a weird moment. We're in a weird moment where COVID and the strikes and all these things pushed it down, and we're just waiting for that thing that is going to revive it. That's my opinion. But
Do you think it's ever going to get back? And Heath, do you imagine that it could ever get back to the way it was, like where lots of movies succeeded back in the like
I
90s?
love Joe's optimism, but
Yeah.
I don't share it because I think that we now, when in the history of all of that stuff, we didn't have YouTube and we didn't have
Yeah.
TikTok, and I see my daughter glaze over as she does the doom
Yeah.
scrolling for an hour and a half, and we'll put on a movie and she'll be like, I gotta have my phone because I am the social media generation. She'd rather do that than watch the narrative. I think that these days, give me 15 seconds, right? That's why the memes are what the memes are. Give me 15 seconds. Give me a snapshot. Will we ever get out of that? I mean, maybe. My gut says no. I think in some ways movies are kind of over. I think that they'll always make movies. I will always watch movies. People like
But
us will still exist, but in the larger culture, the monoculture that exists, I don't think movies have the cachet that they once did, and I don't see how they ever can again because there's too many. Video games make far more money than movies bring in any revenue form.
Well, even what Joe was saying, like 2019, 2020, the way social media and phones have evolved in those 4 years, and the people like a lot of products aim towards the younger generations when they go. The younger generations that are getting to the age of where they would have in the past been supporting movies, they're the ones that really grew up most of their lives on social media and phones.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of what we're experiencing now. That this is why, like, I believe like Toys R Us went out of business at a certain point because in toy stores, except in Canada, lucky Heath.
It was amazing.
But at a certain point, these younger generations are just grow up differently. It's a totally different experience for them. They have different habits.
I think young people feel that way, and I think the older audience wants to live in the past. They want to watch. Yeah, I mean, you were a VHS guy, right? Like there comes an age. I think it's probably in your mid 40s when you go like, okay, I either I challenge myself with new things, or I just enjoy what I already enjoy. I listen to Journey, right? You know, I'm going to listen to Journey. I'm going to listen to Iron Maiden, and I'm not going to check out anything new. I think that's a road that many of us go down because when I made that video, like Where are the Cinephiles, so many people were like, no, they don't make good movies anymore.
I try to do both. Like, I just financially, it's better for me to do VHS now, even though I go overboard. But I eventually, like, I do get occasional Blu-rays, 4Ks and stuff, and I do want to support the movies in this. I did have the AMC A-list that just lapsed on me, and I'm going to get it back. I'm going to get it back before the end of the year.
You know what one of my pet peeves is? We were talking about Perp Say, and people say, oh, I just want a good story. They say that, but they don't really actually care.
They don't.
One of my pet peeves is when you have a diverse cast in something and people go, they're prioritizing diversity over storytelling. As if you can only have one. Like, what do you think? Do you think they said, hey, we got a bunch of black and gay people here. Now they're going to ad-lib the film? No, the script is written and then they do casting. Like, they're two different things. It's not like if you have diversity, it means you don't have a story. Like, that doesn't even make sense. There's no world where that makes sense.
It's just a cheap talking point towards
they have to usually
outrage narrative.
Because usually I think my theory is that comes from because usually the stuff they're talking about isn't really doing what it says it's doing, right? It's usually like a little, let's say, for example, Lightyear, they had a big problem. Oh my God, look what they put the gay kid. It was like one peck in the cheek from the side characters to a couple, same-sex couple, right? So because it's that scene that technically doesn't ruin the movie because it's just like one little thing, right? There's a whole other movie going on. So they have to like jump that part and go into intent of like, no, they have to force that in. The intent is what we're really talking about. It's not really like the movie. Again, if I feel audience members in general have lost sight of intent completely in this conversation with this whole good story fiasco.
By the way, we got a question from Pop Counterculture. Question of the panel: would movies still be losing relevancy had IP-driven franchises not taken such a hold on the market for so long?
It's a great question.
Probably, because we can't think of a hypothetical of what
Well-
else is out there.
I have an opposing opinion to Heath about IP films.
Okay.
And some of you, because I watched your video, Heath. I didn't comment on it yet because I was trying to think about everything, get ready for the stream. But I think I praise IP films because, like Perp, people don't. The audience rewards these IP films. That's why they keep coming up, sequels, reboots. Of course, I'd like to see more original stuff too, but this is really what's keeping these people employed at the theaters. These IP films. If it wasn't for them, where would we be? I don't think we're in a world where if there weren't so many IP films, sequels, reboots, that people are suddenly going to start to see the Kevin Costner movies. Even though I'm really, you actually sold me on it. You and Noah, is that right?
If you like
Yeah.
westerns, you should watch it.
Yeah, I do like westerns, and I want to take my dad to see it now because
I think it is the
it-
most ambitious western that has ever
Okay.
been made.
I
And
see. To
that
me,
is
it just felt the marketing just felt like long, just typical Kevin Costner. Yeah, like
a lot of
he's-
Kevin
they-
Costner movies need an editor. They need
Yeah,
somebody to be
yeah.
like, "Hey, man, let's
So
put
that,
this
but
down."
hearing that your hype around it has sold me, you and Noah. So I
Check
really
out my
like
if you
this
want
movie.
to. I'm not trying to push anything, but if you want to check out my video review, I came home from seeing it that night. I wasn't gonna make a video. I made the video at like 1 a.m. or something. Like when I got back home, and I was like, "Wow, it's like you're seeing me like come to terms with it in real time." And I was like, I think this is amazing."
Cool.
That might resonate with you. Anyway,
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to see it now, but I don't think I think I actually did comment on your video where you're like, I'm going to wait to see the IP movies till a week or two later. I'm like, the IP movies are what's keeping the business alive. What's keeps, it's all, everything contributes to the whole as the movie industry is, it all helps. So I understand that your passion for originality and new ideas, but honestly, the general audience is not rewarding that now, and they still have to make a business. And I still enjoy the big IP films too. I really do. Those are some of the ones I rewatch the most are the IP films, even though I appreciate the originality and the cinematic and the cinephile stuff.
I think what frustrates me is that, like we said, there are so many. We keep hearing people go, "Oh, where's the original? They don't have any new ideas. There's no new
But
ideas."
but the audience doesn't show up though. At least they're not marketed right or something. They don't.
The best movies I've seen this year were original. I mean, again, Perp it was shocked. He didn't think I'd like it, but I went nuts for I saw the TV Glow. Favorite film of the year, the movie If, the John Krasinski film If. Oh my God, that film was magical. Nobody went to see it. My Old Ass was amazing. I loved Argyle. I thought Argyle was so much fun, and nobody went to see that. And it's like all the I don't know. Megalopolis. I went and saw Megalopolis. I gotta be honest.
I'll be honest. I did buy into all the negative talk about that. It's just it was a disaster. And then I know, if you're talking about cinephile, Francis Ford Coppola is really up there.
Right.
But it was confusing on what to think about all the stories of the controversy of how he was with the extras and the crew. I don't know what to believe there, but I think that was a factor too. But I just all the things I've heard. I did actually do what Heath says that people listen to all the, and Joe said listen to all the negativity surrounding that, and that did. Because I love what's the actor's name that's
all right. Look, I'm from Philly.
Yeah.
Who's our national hero or our city hero here in Philly? Rocky Balboa. Okay, I root for the underdog.
Yeah,
I heard all the negativity about Megalopolis, and I so wanted everyone to be wrong. Like I think,
Joe. It's Joe's fault. It's Joe's fault. That's why he saw it and he's like, "Yeah, I wanted to like it, but
I said I didn't like it, but I also said everyone should go see it."
Yeah, but I was like,
I said that. I said I didn't like this, but go see it for yourself. I said,
you
you
did.
need to reward this man who went and put his own money into this passion project. Like I wasn't about to not go out and support that film. And I should have supported Horizon. I got to admit, I'm not a Western guy. Doesn't mean I hate Westerns.
It's not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah, I don't
Definitely
like hate Westerns by any means. There's some great Westerns out there, but Western is not my genre of choice. So that one but I again like Megalopolis, I wish I'd supported that just because of the story behind it. The
Did
fact
you like Megalopolis, Heath?
I respect it. I don't think I like it, but I respect it because
Okay.
it's such a bold swing.
It took some risks. Okay.
It's incredibly risky, and people got to remember that The Godfather was a problematic movie in terms of how it was like they were gonna. I'm reading Al Pacino's new book right now. He's like, they were gonna fire me. We were weeks into filming, and they were gonna fire me because I wasn't delivering what they wanted. Apocalypse Now was kind of a mess. Like, this is Francis Ford Coppola's career trajectory. Like, he's not.
Okay.
It's interesting how we put these filmmakers on a pedestal, right? They're
No,
just
I didn't
human.
realize about those. I didn't know that about those movies. That it was that. Yeah, that's.
By
Well,
the way,
it's the way we talk about these things as fans. Like, we revere creators without remembering that they're just human. You know, they make mistakes too. I want to say this. I think what I do now. You guys are talking about a lot of stuff that I don't like, the memes and all that stuff. I don't even know about a lot of this, because what I do, I go to the with my AMC A list. I go to the movie like 25 minutes after the showtime is scheduled to start, so that I don't see any of the trailers. I get Nicole Kidman saying, "We come to this place for magic," right? And then I get like a Coke ad, and then the movie starts. And that is the best way to see a movie, because you have no expectation. You've heard nobody talking about it. You're just alone with the filmmaker's intention. Whether it works, whether it doesn't work, it's you connecting or maybe not connecting with a movie. And so that's how I do it. And when you separate yourself from all that noise, she's like,
oh yeah,
push the noise out. You have a different experience. And I wish more people could do that.
I agree. You told me tonight, Heath, that you posted about this live stream on Twitter. I didn't even know, because I've been avoiding Twitter, and then I went on and reposted it. But I've been avoiding Twitter. I've been avoiding
especially
Facebook.
this week. Avoid Twitter.
I've been avoiding social media because it's just so demoralizing.
I agree with you both.
Yeah,
but how you both want the general audiences to show up to these movies. I think I know a lot of cinephiles that say I don't want to I would like to go in fresh. But does the general audience do that? No, I think they need to be marketed to.
I don't even know if I care about the general audiences at this point. I'm just like, where are my people? Where are my people?
Well, yeah,
no,
I understand where you're coming from, because if the people who love this the most aren't going to show up, then there's no hope for the general audience.
Yeah, the general audience is not my priority.
Right. Okay. It's like if you're a baseball team, I don't know. Give me a base. I'll say the Phillies because I don't know many baseball teams. If you're the Phillies, you're not going to get the general audience to show up if the hardcore Phillies fans don't show up.
So, Heath, what you're saying then, maybe I misread your video, is not even the general audience and getting people. It's you're saying the cinephiles aren't showing up either.
No.
Oh, that's correct.
They are.
Okay, so I missed that the first run through it. Okay, so you're saying you should love these movies. Why aren't the cinephiles showing up?
Not even you should love them. You should watch them and see if you like them or not.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you know what it is? There's a fear. There's a fear that people have this fear of sitting through something they don't like. Like, oh, I heard something bad, I'm not going to go. And it's like,
yeah.
I'm always like, if there's something I want to see, if there's something I'm interested in seeing, no review, no word, nothing anybody says is going to keep me out of that theater, because why am I going to assume that your opinion is going to be my opinion? Like, why would I make that assumption? I would rather go in, walk out, say, you know what? That was a piece of crap, but find out for myself.
But you know, because you did it. You did the work on it.
Everyone go and see something. I don't care if it's a big film or Joe did a video on this one. Hit Pig. Everyone go and see Hit Pig. I really don't care. go to the theater, give something a chance, because you never know. You could love this one film. I did that this past year with one film that nobody has ever even thought of or said at all, called The Blue Rose. It's one of the best and weirdest films ever made.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's a indie film that is so good and so original, with maybe the best indie performance I've seen all year. It is this film right here. If nobody has seen The Blue Rose, everybody
That's that neo noir. That looked cool. I saw the trailer of that.
Now look, I haven't even heard of that.
It's one of the strangest films that I've seen in years, and nobody is talking about it. Everyone needs to go and
You're
see
right.
it.
I haven't heard of that. You're the first person.
And it has terrible reviews, and nobody should care. They should see it anyway.
I
have a,
yeah.
Reviews don't matter. Reviews don't matter.
Nope.
No, they don't.
Nope.
We got James.
They help
Moreland.
me. I like them.
James Moreland says, any thoughts on the YouTuber who repeated the same rhetoric? Cinema is dead. I think the rhetoric is ridiculous because every decade has shit and gold.
People just like to complain.
I don't know who the YouTuber who said that is.
That's for every topic on YouTube. Every topic that gets trend, every topic that goes to the top is, it's dead now. It's not.
It's also very.
To say.
Everything's very accelerated because of the internet. I think like last year we had Oppenheimer and Barbie, like a huge event. We have events every once in a while. You know, we had the Maverick,
Deadpool and Inside Out too have made like
we have
each,
tons of. Like, that's what it is. It's just everything's whatever you think, whether it's gonna go back to theaters or there's a new landscape. Whatever it is, there's still people at times that will gravitate towards an event, whether it's in the theater or something else. Go ahead. I think that's sort of a post-COVID sort of human nature is like, okay, now that we're out of our houses, let's go party with Barbie. Let's go chill with Oppenheimer. Let's go do that.
Yeah.
I had a question for Heath about the cinephiles. So you're saying they're not showing up for the theater, and you do different types of content on your channel. You were doing movie reviews that you were frustrated with, but when you on your physical media reviews, do you think the cinephiles are showing up there? Like what's going on? Are cinephiles bunkered down in their amazing home theaters and waiting, or what's going? Do you see a lot of engagement in the physical media aspect?
I do. I see way more engagement with physical media, but I don't know that they're watching it. I think that
collectors
and movie fans are not the same thing.
There are people that just collect.
I also want to bring up a brilliant point Heath did in his video, where it's like these are movies that are known as absolute trash, and they're beloved, but they're trash movies. Why can't audience
the vinegar
find
syndrome.
love in trash movies nowadays when they're finding love from trash movies back in the day?
Didn't you say
it's nostalgia?
Heath, didn't you say once in a video that a commenter gave you a hard time in the comments and said you couldn't be a real fan because you didn't have your Vinegar Syndrome films grouped together?
I think it was Criterion Collection. If my memory serves, I didn't have enough Criterion Collection movies.
How dare you, Heath?
It's but that's very telling, right? Because that's the virtue signaling of like, well, I'm a real movie fan because I've got all these Criterion Collection editions. Which one's your favorite one? Let's talk about your favorite movie from the Criterion Collection. They can't do it because they just have them in a box on their shelf. I learned, and this year has really hammered it home, that there's a whole lot of people buying movies and they can't talk about it because they're not watching them. They're just buying them, putting them on the shelf. It satisfies this thing.
I cover movies
like books, man. It really is like books. Remember, a lot of people have books that they don't read.
Well, there was a guy several years ago
movies
who did
really
a video.
Are books again. Jesus.
Perp, there was a guy several years ago who did a video. I don't remember the YouTuber's name, but he did a video called How to Start Collecting. And his advice was just go out and buy any movie you see so they look impressive on your shelf behind you.
I saw that video.
That's cool.
Is it something like a video? I love it. I love all entertainment, music, video games, movies. It might be something. There's a lot of video game they just collect to collect, and maybe even be doing it as an investment, because some of these physical media releases are rare. it's getting hard. I also watched a few of your videos that there is still physical media is still relevant. It's not like people always do the physical media is dead too constantly as well.
They do. I'm going to tell you, 2025, I'm going to be talking a lot less about physical media because it's hijacked the whole conversation.
If it's
And
dead,
you find yourself just talking
just-
about discs and not, there's no movie love in it. It's just, it's almost transactional. It's just like you buy the movie, it's got lobby cards, it's got a poster with 2 sides on it. You've said nothing about the movie. No one made a movie fan out of talking about lobby cards and a reversible poster. It's crazy times.
I do like those extras though, Heath. If I was gonna buy another besides VHS, which I like to get because cheap, accessible, and there's stuff I haven't seen. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen from back in the day. I do like those extras when I get collectibles. So.
Sure. I like them too, but I feel like that's all we get to talk about now.
Well, it's like I always used to say back in the day with when we used to get the bare bones DVD, and then they would put out the special edition that had all the special features and bells and whistles. I used to always say I can't justify if it was a movie I already bought. I can't justify buying it again unless the transfer is better. If the transfer of the film is better, but if it's just the same exact transfer and all you've done is add special features, then I'm just buying the special features.
Is it partly the studio's fault, Heath, and everyone, because they instead of including like special features in the era of DVD were probably the best,
yes.
Right? So instead of investing in director commentary, actor commentary, behind the scenes special features, it's much easier to make a new limited edition card or poster and just wrap that with the same movie.
Probably
another cover.
I do feel like especially DVDs used to have amazing bonus features where you really got a good look behind the scenes. I feel I learned a lot from that, man. I feel I learned a lot from that, and I don't know if the current audiences are getting that, which would be very helpful in these discussions, especially when it comes to writers' intent, to see what it's like in the writers' room and how directors work with writers. All that stuff is completely lost, where it's now like they're forcing that agenda in. Like it's like if we could just bring back I think that could help, because it's like look at how these things are come up with. You don't have to like have your own little conspiratorial take on how these things are made, like here it is.
I think it's the question that Max was asking. I think it's the tail wagging the dog, because the companies wouldn't do it if it wasn't making money, and that's what the fans want. The fans want the whole media releases to be baseball cards. They want them to be highly collectible. I've interviewed a lot of the people that work at the labels, and I'm not going to say who it was. Should I say who it was? No, I'm not going to say who it was, but somebody told me one of the label heads was like, these slipcovers. He's like, what do you give a crap about a slipcover for? It's a piece of cardboard. He's like, but the fans are nuts for it. So, we're going to put slipcovers on all this stuff. Who gives a crap? But that's what they want. So that's what we're going to give them. We got to make money. It's a business.
People would rather have the shiny than like listen to a new commentary or new special feature potentially.
Or watch the movie. And that's
even watch the movie. They would.
This is kind of it's weird because it's kind of a complicated issue. Here's the thing. The thing is, a lot of the movies, especially the old ones with these special edition stuff, these movies have been talked about to death. So I could understand some people don't really have anything new to say about Ridley Scott's Alien. I understand that. The key thing is, though, and where I think it's helpful, is like a lot of these special edition stuff are coming out for newer movies. Like I saw A24's, I saw the TV Glow's presentation. Beautiful slipcover, all the stuff there. But, again, a pathway to talk about the movie that's not being shilled enough, in me and Crazy Joe's opinion, So it's like a give or take. It's like, I understand, older movies maybe, but like, I think, physical media could help newer ones too, especially when it comes to getting talked about.
I think part of the problem there is that the studios do not want they don't want the narrative out there.
Sure. But is there a physical, let's say Kevin Costner release of Horizon? Would you not that's a good way to hey guys, physical guys, check this out.
Yeah.
You can do this presentation.
You want to
Blink Twice? I just got the Blink Twice Blu-ray to review. It has nothing on it, not a single thing, not even the trailer.
Damn.
Wow.
You want to
Is
see
it 4K? Sorry, you said Blu-ray or 4K?
No, it's only
Blu-ray, no
Blu-ray.
4K.
It's Blu-ray. Damn.
Yeah, they that's MGM's been doing that. It was the same thing with American Fiction. That was only Blu-ray.
The
Challengers, I think,
digital
was
is
only
4K.
yeah. Hey, you want to see my favorite special feature on a physical media release?
Is it the Alien Quadrilogy documentary?
Oh no, it's on the Evil Dead
Oh,
Groovy
shut up.
collection. This is my favorite special feature. You ready? Ready for it? See, I'm dropping.
That is a
stuff.
nice collection.
I'm dropping stuff. So here's my
It's a-
favorite
it's a
in the
good
book. In the book, this is my favorite special feature.
You got to find it, Joe.
Yeah, it's it's a picture of Perp. That's little movie Perp right
That's
there.
me.
He yeah. And I have to say, I just watched his episode he directed. Heath, it's amazing episode. Have you watched that series?
He directed. Yeah, he directed a third season episode.
What's
of
the series?
Ash vs.
Ash
Evil
vs.
Dead.
Ash vs.
I
Evil
have
Dead?
not seen the whole thing. I've seen the first season.
Cool.
But when you get to
Amazing
season
episode.
3,
Season
Why are
3.
you a raptor?
To get attention.
Like, you're a director. Why are you covering your brand with a raptor?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel this is more fun. You know, I feel a little more loose if I don't show my face. But yet everyone still knows who I am. I don't know.
Good looking guy in that picture.
I feel I'll get a little more nervous too for some
Okay.
reason. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that I like the raptor. The funniest was I was watching YouTube on the big screen, on the big TV there, and Perp was on the screen talking, and my cat started going after his tail.
That's what I mean. I want attention from cats.
Hey, I just remembered the talk about special features. I just remembered I'm going to bring up Joker 2. I know it's a dirty word, but the Joker 2 home media release is going to have like a 5-part
Really?
making of documentary on it.
That's
Nice.
oh really? That's
Yeah.
great.
By the way,
Feature
we're talking about special features. We should point out to those who don't know, there are several discs out there, including the movie Joysticks, where Heath did the commentary track.
Oh, base.
He's done
Ooh.
several.
I just recorded my 15th last week.
Wow. Okay.
Holy crap.
So I know. Okay, I know Joysticks.
Which
I know-
what narratives? Any narratives?
What does that mean?
Like not documentaries? Like do you do
Oh no,
commentary for movies?
films. So usually
Films?
old
Yeah.
stuff. Well, so Joysticks, commentary on. I've done some film noir for Kino Lorber. I've got
Oh,
more
based.
film noir coming.
That's awesome.
It's usually older movies. Well, it's always older
It was
movies.
the Mill Creek. What was it? The Thrillers collection.
Yeah, the thrillers from the vault. The Man They Could Not Hang. I did with C. Courtney Joyner.
Based.
Is he the guy who did the commentary on My Stepmother's an Alien?
I don't know, but let's find
The
out.
commentary, my God, the commentary on My Stepmother's an Alien. I think that was the name.
He's done like 200 of them, so it may very well be.
Very
can't keep up.
very informative commentary track for a movie that nobody even really remembers. But I so
It's
enjoyed
Brian
it.
Reisman is who
Oh,
did that
okay,
one.
okay.
Heath, do you have any video on your where you discussed recent year releases with amazing special features for people that are
Mm-mm,
getting okay?
I don't.
There
About-
are
Yeah,
It's about the film. Haven't you been
Is there
paying
not?
attention, Max?
no, I know it's
Films.
about film,
It's about the
But you-
films.
but you
It's
do
about the art.
It's about
We're-
the art, the
do
beginning,
so
middle,
much
end,
content on
climax.
the recent releases because I didn't know like you said Joker 2 is going to have some special features. I don't know what movies are released recently that have them.
A bunch
Not a
of
lot.
a bunch of older movies do, but when it comes
Yeah,
to new movies, they
like
don't
new
want the
movies,
story
yeah.
out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, hey, on The Force Awakens, this door fell on Harrison Ford's foot and broke his leg, and then we had to shut down filming, and J.J. Abrams went and rewrote the screenplay while Harrison Ford was laid up. That, like, you're never going to hear that. I mean, maybe, but
A really excellent one that's really, really like behind, like you literally are there day to day is The Matrix. One of the Matrix releases, they did like literally a day to day, like the next day they shot
That was
this.
a lot
The-
of people's first DVD.
Man, that was an incredible document. They
Matrix.
even showed Carrie Ann Moss like her spraining her ankle. She was freaking out. Like they showed they showed the direct, like Keanu Reeves was really confused a lot of the times. Like literally like, hey, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. And not getting like exactly the best direction at the time. It's like they no holds bar. It's a phenomenal filmmaking documentary.
I feel like we just tangented way off to the
Go
point
see
where,
more movies, people.
yeah, no,
Go see
definitely,
movies.
definitely.
Movies are the best.
Yeah, I
The
think
problem is people go, well, they don't make good things anymore, but they do. But you have to go see them.
What
Yeah.
do
You
you
don't
think
see them at the
about?
theater. See them on streaming when they first hit.
What do you think about? I know this is a dirty word about for cinephiles, but gimmicks to get people in. I know some are good gimmicks. 3D people didn't like. I still enjoyed 3D back in the day when stuff was filmed for it. Like I enjoyed Avatar and James Cameron's Avatar. IMAX gets people, is consistently getting people in that are
Joker 2 was in
cinephiles.
IMAX.
What's that?
The Joker 2 was in IMAX.
Yeah,
I mean, is
that's
it
true.
though? Is it though? Like, I mean, people will go see a movie that
Well, there
they
might
were
be.
all,
Is it
if
whole
if it
film
if
or
it's a
scenes,
if
though?
it's a movie they were going to see anyway, they'll go see it in IMAX.
I
But it's
saw
not like
Transformers 1 on opening night, 3D. One dude in there with me. One
Okay.
dude. Transformers.
Well,
Yeah.
don't you think there's a
Yeah.
difference though? Also, like some scenes that are in IMAX where it's really IMAX focused, like Christopher Nolan stuff. You know, you're going to
Well,
really
I don't think people
intense.
care.
Well, I
You
mean,
don't? I
but
think people care.
Max,
I do.
My point though is like if
There's
it's
sections.
a movie people were going to see anyway.
But I think people reward that. I think audiences reward that to some extent.
but they don't
They need to
they
look
won't
at.
go see a movie they weren't going to go see just because it's an
That's
IMAX.
not exactly true.
No, it
Again,
still has to be
always
good.
always look
Nothing
to the
is-
horror genre and how the reactions to that. Like the horror
Yeah,
genre,
IMAX
the movies
doesn't matter
just
in horror. I don't think
the
Yeah.
movies just spout off and people go see them.
Megalopolis was in IMAX. That didn't help.
Joker 2 was in IMAX. It didn't help.
Okay.
But did Transformers 1 do well? I guess it did.
But do you mean what
Barely.
I mean though? Like,
Got
do you
good
think
word of mouth.
you think theaters or James Cameron or someone has to bring something really new and innovative that's really going to be a game
Events.
changer to the theater
Just events.
instead of in the home?
For
Because
now,
you
it's
do get
just
some
events.
great stuff, and I do really enjoy seeing movies in
But
home too.
I also hear that I also hear the older audience members are going back to the theater. Stuff like Conclave right now is doing really well in its limited run, and it's probably going to open wide. So
Leaving
just different sections, different groups,
guys,
different
When I
events.
go, it's older people that are in there with me.
to be
Yeah.
fair, guys. Now look, I recognize that it's the night before election night, and this is very, very
This is
contentious.
great because I didn't even
So
think about the elections.
I'm going to
till
try.
you just said that.
I'm going to try to say this in the most nonpartisan, impartial way I
That's
can.
not possible with Big Woke Joe.
It is. It is. Here's the thing. No matter what you may think of them, no matter what your opinion may be, these very conservative-based movies bring in a crowd of
Sure.
older people.
They
People
need an
went
audience.
to see the sound of, what was it? Sound of Freedom. They
Yeah.
went to see that. They went
That
they went
again,
to
that
see-
felt like an event. These people go for events.
They went to see Reagan, and but these are low budget films. They're
Yes.
not spending a lot on them, and they have a target audience that goes to see them.
more
I
or
saw
less.
Reagan, by the way. It was a truly terrible movie, but guess what? It wasn't an empty theater either. So,
It's just I find it kind of sad because I do think, again, these are all like sections. There's I found that in like Twitter. There is a group of people that they like to show off how much they go to the theater. I see the memes of like the ticket stub in front of the poster. That's like a thing. You just got to find. I think there's more of finding those groups, extending a bridge, and then also finding ways of keeping movies in a positive light fun. That is, I think that's a big key, because to me, like, again, this year alone, the action genre has delivered in so many ways, and like action fans from all over the world it's like having a renaissance from like Monkey Man to Boy Kills World. Like it's almost like there's a new wave, that's happening within that. No one's talking. I feel like that's a new trend, between that, Shadow Strays, all these amazing action movies from all over the world. And if you go on Twitter and you find like action junkies, or it's called action Twitter, there's different subsets, you'll see, they're all celebrating it, and I'm like, trying to find my ways of bringing that to YouTube, bringing that sort of crowd, because they're out there. They just need bridges. There's just
What
bridges, and they need to point out. It's like, look, guys, there is positive stuff. There is trends that isn't being talked about in our spaces. That there's just that's the bridge.
What
You know?
about here's some more ideas. What about variable pricing to benefit the consumer instead of the corporations and the chains for more original movies, like
I, I don't
lower.
think I don't think it matters. I don't
You
think it
don't.
matters
You don't think
because
even if okay.
look, I keep saying it. I've been shouting it from the rooftops. It's never been cheaper to go to the movies. It's literally never been cheaper with the AMC A-list, with the Regal Unlimited. I think Marcus
Joe, it
Sanders
got to the
has
point
one.
where people would tell me on social media, they'd be like, "It's too expensive." I'd be like, "What's your closest theater?" And they tell me, and I'd be like, "Okay, you have a program where you can see it's $25. You can see this many movies." Like everybody does this, and people
Right.
still complain about it.
You know, oh geez, God, it went right out of my head. I was gonna say something. Went right out of my head.
I'm sorry. It's good I interrupted you.
No, it's
You're talking about movies have never been cheaper because you were saying that they have.
Oh, my
historically.
local Regal Theater. I've been told that there's people that go regularly, that are there all the time, and the management has said to them, you know, you're not a member of Regal Unlimited. You should join Regal Unlimited, and they go, not interested. And it's like they're there all the time, and it's like I think people hear a sales pitch and they don't even want to hear what it is. They're just like not interested. And it's like
it's a timeshare. or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I think there's one thing we can agree on that would help a little bit is better customer service in the actual theater, because there's no one patrolling. Like when I do go to the theater, I've had many experiences, even my AMC A-list, there's a bunch of people just so loud in the back, you know, distracting. Even like a serious movie, they're just how people behave in the theater has gone way downhill. How people behave in life and social media has gone downhill. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of care for how you're impacting other people. But if there was a way that they could, you know, go in there and say, hey, you're being disruptive or something, I think that could help slightly. Because I
talked
do know
to a theater manager about this, and he said if anybody would come and get us and tell us what was happening, we would take those people out. But people don't come and tell them anything. So it's on the person too to go get an adult to go get somebody.
I think more theaters need to adapt the draft house rules. They're very good with that.
I gotta say, my local theater is pretty good. There's not a lot of problems that go on at my local theater. Now, I did a review about a year ago of Five Nights at Freddy's. I went and saw Five Nights at Freddy's, and in my review, I mentioned that it was the worst theater experience of my entire life. It was a
See, I'm cool with that one because it's like that. I think you should have been more. I think maybe it's the job of the, because like I was expecting that. It's like those gamers were gonna party in that movie.
A lot of people too. Like I put that video out, and a lot of people heard Five Nights at Freddy's and they assumed that it was kids. They're like, it's just kids having fun. It's just. I'm like, dude, they were drunks.
Yeah,
they were drunks. It was an 11 p.m. show.
They're gamers, man.
Everybody was drunk,
unhinged.
We're not
unhinged, Joe. The gamers are unhinged when their gamer movies on.
If it helps, I go see because I get this a lot too, right? It's like, well, the people are so terrible. So for a while, I was taking pictures when I go into the theater, and there's nobody there. You know, be 0 people in there. So I snap a shot of the empty theater, and I'd be like, well, nobody's getting on their phone tonight. Or something like that. And then it actually turned the people like social media, Twitter, because it's terrible, turned on that. And they're like, well, who wants to go see a movie in an empty theater? What a terrible experience. But if you
I love that.
I do too. Now it makes me sad.
I get to be loud.
I love it when it's a popular movie and you get the right spot.
Oh yeah, dude.
When
I
it's
saw
a movie
the Flash.
that you think should be doing better. It's sad.
I saw the Flash alone, and I got to be so loud the whole time. It's like, save that baby, Flash, save it.
Oh god, that scene was horrible.
Hey guys,
I loved it.
It's almost midnight. Do you know what that means?
Cereal?
It's almost the end of the show. What?
Cereal after midnight.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's after midnight. You got to eat it at midnight.
Is the name of your channel, Heath, or have you done that? Cereal after midnight. I've done that.
I mean, it was. Yes, both. I mean, I don't do it a lot, but
Yeah, yeah.
I will often have a bowl of cereal after midnight. I stay up till like 3.
If
so
it's after midnight, is it the bad stuff like the sugary stuff, or is it?
I can't do that. I can't do
Oh,
that even in the day. I can't do
Okay.
that anymore because it makes me feel
It's
so
not like
bad.
Frank and
Have
Berry.
you ever snuck cereal into a theater?
No, but I've snuck a lot of other things in, like a Subway sandwich.
Oh no.
I've done all kinds of stuff. Well, if you're in there by yourself, you know,
I
who's
don't
gonna...
even think you have to sneak it anymore. Like my
No,
local
you're just
theater,
like-
people bring Chick-fil-A in. They don't seem
bring
to
the pizza, bring the box
I
of
saw
pizza in.
spaghetti and meatballs, Joe. Spaghetti! Someone brought spaghetti!
Did they bring? Wait, you got to bring it in Charlie Day style in the bag, though.
Oh my lord.
Does everyone watch Sunny? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
What's your spaghetti policy? All right. Before we wrap things up, does anyone have any any last word they want to throw on the discussion of how do we get people? How do we get people? I guess we don't know, but if anyone got ideas, how do we get people excited about going to the movies?
I think Heath should keep grinding. Don't give up, Heath, because just what you did today, your video sparked this stream, and then we got Noah talking about some movies. You talked about the Kevin Costner movie, and I'm definitely gonna see the Kevin Costner movie. And then what was the movie you recommended again?
The Blue Rose.
The Blue Rose.
That's already on my watch list. Yeah, I'm gonna watch
the
that.
trailer.
Guess what, Max? You could watch my
really
favorite
just the
movie of
little
the year.
things. I think that,
You can watch my favorite movie of the year and Heath's favorite movie of the year on Max right now.
okay. I don't have Max.
Bike
right
Riders
now.
on Max?
What?
I don't
They
have
do.
Max at the
Max?
moment.
They do.
I think
Actually.
Horizon's on Max. I saw the TV Globes.
No, Bike Riders is on Max, I
But
think.
Heath, are you encouraged at
so.
all that
It's either
even
that or Peacock.
talking about how frustrating it could be that like someone like you've reached me tonight, like I'm gonna go see that movie, the Kevin Costner movie. It just
that's
small
good.
steps, I guess.
That's good. Yeah, I have really rapidly lost energy to try to convince people anymore because it really. I hear you. I appreciate that. I'm excited. Let me know what you think about Horizon when you watch
I definitely am
it.
gonna see it now. Yes.
And you don't have to like it. I didn't make it, so it's okay.
No,
Even if it's
I'm not.
subjective.
I don't get upset when someone really likes a movie and I go see it, and I don't. Otherwise, I'd be mad at Joe all the time because me and him have very different opinions on the movies.
But the problem is you don't give things a shot, man.
I give it a shot.
Eventually, you got to give them a shot while they're in the theater. You got
Joe and Perp, and Bruce, and a lot of my other friends are the ones that got me in the AMC A list because even the negativity, Heath, got me to go see movies. Like, well, people are talking about it. I want to see for myself. So that actually convinced me.
Let me tell you, I was thankful I didn't see Beetlejuice in the theater.
I still want to see it. It's life gets really busy at certain times in your life. There's a lot of things happening where I haven't been able to get to the theater.
Yeah. Well, again, we're all. Well, I was gonna say we're all doing our best, but that's not true. I think you're doing your best. I wish other people would stop accepting the narrative. This is my final thought. I think other people would stop accepting the narrative that everything sucks. Take a chance. Stop listening to people that you don't know, and trust yourself. Go see things for yourself. And if you ever loved movies, and you probably have and do, you owe it to yourself to give more movies a shot instead of wanting to see them fail. And that's something I know Joe's talked about before, like actively rooting for movies to fail. No movie fan should ever do that. At the very never.
Yeah,
I've never been happy when a movie didn't.
With Megalopolis, with Megalopolis and Horizon, there was like a gleefulness.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, and I feel that it was the same with Joker too. Like the people were so happy, like, oh, it bombed, and it's like, what did you get like a cookie for that or something? Like what was your skin in the game?
And then they go, no, it just validates that he hates us. I'm like, he doesn't hate you. That's not what the movie's about. The movie is a criticism of a certain thing. If you're identifying with this thing, like, I don't even think people understand it.
Even if people didn't like it, don't they appreciate it had something to say? It wasn't just like, even though I didn't see it yet. It sounds like it had an interesting.
I think Todd Phillips is punk rock. If you look at his past shit, if you even look at the document, he did a G.G. Allen documentary. How could you not think he was not going to have a punk rock response to a mainstream success. Like,
And that's
of
what they
course.
loved about the first one. Is like,
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
punk rock, like, oh, it's like sticking it to the system.
Exactly.
And it's
we-
still
It's
is.
like,
That's what
and
he's
now
doing.
he became the system. You don't think he was going to comment on that? And
we didn't even
more punk rock?
touch. We didn't even touch on two of my other biggest pet peeves, which I'll mention them quickly, but I don't want to get off on a tangent because that'll keep us here for another couple hours. But well, that made that didn't do well at the box office, so it was clearly bad.
Somebody said that to me just a couple of days ago. I was like, that it has never been in box office has never been an indication of quality ever.
No, it never has. Never had. And like,
I hope not. All my favorite movies bomb.
I mean, we had a mention here in the chat from Degrassi. I don't know where it is, Degrassi, but Degrassi mentioned he just got his 4K release of Trick or Treat with Mark Price from Synapse. That's not exactly a hit film, and yet people were lining up to buy it. I mean, that's, I don't know. Box office has never been a measure of quality. And the other thing that I hate is the
Godfather debuted at number 2 in the box office. It got beat up. It got beat by a jellyfish movie. No one knows that.
The other thing that I hate is nobody asked for this. Like, why'd they make that movie? Who was asking for that?
Nobody asked for any movie ever to be made in history.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever asked, give me a Godfather part 2. Nobody has ever said that. Nobody.
I mean, occasionally,
I don't think it's possible to ask for everything everywhere all at once. I don't know how anyone could have asked for that.
Look, there are movies. There are
Give me
movies
a
that
multiverse like with Wong Kar-wai shout outs. Give me that.
There are movies that people have asked for, like, because they'll put out a oh God, what is it? We want a sequel to this. Give us a sequel. We like that. Like for years, people were begging for another. Like Joker. Or for years, people begged for another Bill and Ted. People begged for the spin-off movie of Tropic Thunder, the Grossman movie. What their movie, and it's never been made. But there are movies people ask for. But as my friend the Junk Man once said, there's not an application you send into Hollywood to request a movie. Like you can't like that. This is the one I want. And if we ever start making art that way, like where we just, like, well, what? Because people don't know they want a thing that they haven't seen before. Like they wouldn't know that they wanted that.
No. And if you watch a movie in the theater, or you stream a movie on a streaming platform, or you buy a movie on disc, you are saying, I want more of this. You are voting with your dollars for more of that thing.
Exactly. And even if it bombs at the box office, like stuff like the Jason Statham movie, The Transporter, that bombed in the box office. That found life. Austin Powers, one of the biggest comedies of the 90s, was a box office bomb that found life in home video.
I saw that movie in an empty theater in 1997, and I was terrified that it was going to be a huge bomb.
Yes.
Me too.
And Hollywood will, and that's what I'm telling people. It's like, if you are tired of this Hollywood, the world market has opened up. Go tell Hollywood, hey, by spending your dollars over here, watching this type, I want this type of movie, and they will provide. Hollywood,
I love your Godfather 2 note too, because that's in the Al Pacino book that I'm reading. He talks about how they greenlighted. They're like, hey, Paramount wants a Godfather 2, and Francis Ford Coppola was like, we can come up with a story, I guess. And Al Pacino was like, he's like, the character is done. The whole arc of that character is done. I have no idea how I'm going to play that, because I already played everything I knew how to play. Mm-hmm. But everybody loves Godfather 2, but they didn't when it came out. But now they love Godfather 2.
I need to go in these special features because I didn't know about that. But Al Pacino said that.
By the way, anyone who's interested in the behind the scenes on The Godfather, the Paramount Plus series, the offer,
but there's a lot of fiction in the offer too.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
All these biopics and all these docu-series, like these bio series, at least 50% is just completely manufactured.
Yeah,
the Saturday Night Live movie, which is really good. Saturday Night, it's a fantastic movie.
Oh yeah,
mostly fiction.
Well, my friend Lisa, who was in the chat earlier, I think she left, but she and I were both irked by the portrayal of Jim Henson in that movie. Like he was some kind of rube, and we're like, that's not who Jim Henson was. Like you didn't get Henson right at all. But
same guy that played Henson played Andy Kaufman.
I know. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up for tonight. Thank you everyone for being here. Heath, always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for the invitation. It's good to be here.
And we do this every Monday night. I know you're a busy guy. If you have an open invite anytime you want to join us, just let me know.
Thank you.
I had fun. Thank you, Heath. Thanks, Perp, Joe.
Thank you.
Noah. And honestly, I'm begging you to keep doing the movie content, Heath, because now I'm more interested to watch your movie content because you were saying
That's what I want to do most of is
Okay.
talk about movies.
And by the way,
But
we do this every Monday night, and we simul stream on Max's channel. And this is the first time Max has joined us on his own channel.
I have a 10-hour day at work on Monday, so I'm usually like trashed at the end of Monday night.
I'm sorry,
feels
Heath.
like-
Thank you, Max.
I
Thank you for
interrupted
showing up
you.
this time. Thank you.
I interrupted you, Heath. I apologize. Please continue.
oh, I was just like, there does come a point in any endeavor when you're like, if more people are angry about this than are enjoying this, is it time to switch tactics? That's kind of where I'm at. Is like when I do cover, I'm reaching a lot of people with movie reviews and stuff, but I make a lot of people get mad about it too. And I'm just like, do I keep doing it here? I could write it. I don't know. I'm questioning everything right now.
You know what? I almost feel like the internet is so big.
All the old YouTube. I'm sorry, I'm not saying you're an old YouTuber, but like older YouTubers in
I mean, I
general.
kind of am.
Okay, well, good. Well,
This is year 8. I'm yeah.
There's a lot of older YouTubers like retiring lately, or having this sort of, I guess, YouTube existential crisis of like, what now? Like, what is going on? Like,
Well,
yeah.
you can tell when the algorithm is no longer pushing you, when it no longer favors
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
And I can tell because you can go into your analytics and you can see there's something called impressions, and that's how many people that YouTube shows your video to.
Mhm.
And it's just like, pew, it's just like a line down. I'm like, okay, so YouTube doesn't promote me anymore. I'm just out here, and I have people tell me, I didn't even know you put that video up.
Can I say something to you right off the bat, Heath? That
Yeah.
I don't know if you do. Do you do shorts? YouTube shorts?
I'm gonna get back into it.
Okay, because
They want you to.
that's
do that.
really, it's not even beyond the like hate content that just hate everything.
Mm-hmm.
The younger generations just love shorts engagement. That's the only way I grow my channel anymore. As slow it is, I'm a smaller channel. Shorts is where it's at. If you can make, I know, and that's also because you have elaborate things you like to talk about. It might be hard to get in 60 seconds, but if
It's
you
3
could
minutes
if
now.
you could reach people in 60 seconds, I would challenge you to make some more shorts to say
Yeah.
you need to see this movie. Give reasons in 60 seconds for these movies that you love that aren't getting enough attention. And that I would love to see that from you.
But that goes back to what we were talking about with our We Post movies, because it's the small attention span. Give it to me in the shortest bite that you can give it to me in, But it's true. It's true. It's the world we live in. If I have to meet people on their turf, not expect them to come to me.
I've given up trying to.
Dude, you could maybe look, think of it more of as a trailer. Look at your short more as a trailer to the real reviews. So you just get like your best snippets of your thing, put it together, you put the freaking subtitle.
Yeah, for full discussion, see my full review.
Yeah, you put your funniest part and the best point you make, and boom, you got yourself a trailer for your actual discussion. And
I need a millennial intern to help me with all of this stuff because I don't understand most of this.
Yeah,
I'll tell you this: I've given up trying to grow my channel. I am not trying to grow this channel.
I'm never giving up.
I come on here. I talk about
No
what I want to
retreat, no
talk on
surrender.
here. You watch it. You don't watch it. I don't give a damn. And I'm
Good attitude.
and I'm done. I'm 48 years old. In March, I'll be 49. And I said a while ago, I quit at age 50. I'm not doing this past age 50. I'm not.
Oh yeah, I'm dragging you here, Joe.
No,
Yes,
I'm not.
yes.
I'm not. I've said a while ago, I am, and not that you can't be like, hey, Geriatric Geek, great YouTuber, love Geriatric.
I'm going to be streaming from the nursing home. I'm
But
never.
I'm I feel like it's a young man's game, and I'm done. I'm done at 50. I've said that for a while now.
With me, I'm the odd man out here. I have a very niche market, very very niche. So with me, I am growing, but it's mostly because of my niche market that very few people even love. But the people who love my stuff are older. So once they pass away, who's going to watch my stuff? That's my big worry is what if they croak and my channel goes down?
I
That
don't
niche market.
know. I don't know. Your market is niche, but I don't think it's all senior citizens. Like there's like I mean a lot of I don't know. My wife is not, and my daughter loves Hallmark movies, you know. It's like I don't know.
Everybody who notices me, they all just talk like this, and they have the wrinkles here. They got the coffee in the morning. They're like, "Oh my lord, you talk to this person?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" "Oh, I loved him in this back in like 1975 on this one episode of the Love Boat," and I'm like, "Well, that's great. Thank you." And they get
Send them
so
to my channel.
excited.
That sounds like my core audience. We'll go back even further. We'll do 1945.
They loved it, and I'm like, I got caught in this niche market, and they keep on just coming back. So I push all this content out, but with a small channel, what do you think the biggest thing that they what can they do? Do they find a niche audience? What do they do there?
What do you do when you find a niche audience?
What do you do?
You
with
grab
your
them,
niche?
you look them in the eye, and you say, "I love you."
Yeah.
You never
Appreciate
let them
any
go.
audience you have.
I mean, I feel like
That's a good
engaging
answer.
community is the best way to grow a channel, and that's when you have that audience, you engage with them. And I think what's hard for me right now is that's what I built my channel on, and now like half the audience seems to hate me, and I'm like, because
What?
they're like, well, you like these new movies? You're a traitor, like, and I'm like, no, it's just movies. But typically, locking into that sense of community helps foster it, deepen it, and helps it to grow.
People will get mad at you for the weirdest things too. Like
Yeah.
it's like I know I pissed off a lot of people because I told the truth about somebody. I'm not gonna say who. I think you all know, but I told the truth about somebody, and people got
Do they
so
like
mad.
toys?
They have I don't know. They have kind of a sickness.
Oh,
Yeah, and then I made a follow up to that, and they got very mad at me. But it's
I
okay.
don't know.
People get mad at everything.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's yeah, and you know what? It's like you just I don't care. Come on here.
Yeah.
I talk about what I care about, and you watch it. You don't watch it. I have a day job. You know, like I go to work every day. This isn't where my income's coming from. I said something somebody didn't like, and they're like, "Well, your channel's a failure. You're only making so much according to Social Blade." And I'm like, Social Blade's wrong. I'm not making that much. I'm making less than that. Don't
what
say
a
I don't.
terrible thing to say to you too. What a just terrible, hateful thing to say.
Yeah, but it's like who cares?
Yeah.
Well, I know we're trying to end here, and I appreciate everyone's time. Have you? I know you cover the re-releases, Heath, of old movies, but have you, like I found joy in VHS because it's also retro, and there's a lot of movies I missed. Do you find yourself doing that even if there's not a re-release, going back and say, "Oh, I missed this release from this year," or do you just know most of the releases?
That's an interesting question. I'm not sure.
Because I mean, retro is something that people that help. I know there's a lot of there's the nostalgia there, but I think that's helped a lot of channels too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of love of retro.
Yeah. I have done that for sure. Like I did a review of Batman 1989, just like a retro review of Batman 1989. They do, it does okay. It doesn't seem to matter what I do, It's like, well, it's gonna do what it's gonna do. And hey, that's a line from the Bike Riders. You give everything you got to this thing, and at the end of the day, it's gonna do what it's gonna do.
I was really hyped for that movie, and then it got delayed, and then I didn't see it.
I
Or
think
it
you're
got
gonna like
kicked
it.
from the studio. That was my story with that.
Hey
one.
guys, sorry, I gotta get going though. It was awesome talking to you. Love your video. Love everyone on this panel. I swear to God, I'm gonna watch some Lifetime movies. All right,
Lifetime.
Hallmark.
Lifetime and Hallmark. All right.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, Per. I'm gonna wrap it up now. I think there's no better way to end it than with this line from Degrassi. If they can get John Cena to play Ernest P. Worrell, cinema will truly be saved. I think those are wise words from Degrassi. So All right, everybody. Thanks for being here, and keep wearing those pajamas.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
With the plastic feet.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Tell everyone you meet.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
With the backdoor flap.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
Don't open it, it's a trap.
Oh no!
It's a trap. Some people call them bitches. Some people call them jammies. They can come embroidered with big money and no whammies. They can have 100 tiny commander adamas. But no matter how they look, just keep on wearing those pajamas.
Keep on wearing those pajamas. Keep wearing those pajamas.
I know we're having fun.
Keep wearing those pajamas.
And now the song is done.